Ever find yourself kind of sucked into those online train wreck stories? You know, the ones you can't look away from, even though you know you should.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's exactly where we're headed today, down the rabbit hole with this guy, Bossmanjack.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, strap in, because this one takes us deep, deep into the world of online gambling, like some real intense emotions and a community of, well, I guess you could say chroniclers is the word, all centered on a Kiwi Farms forum thread.
Kiwi Farms. Wow. Okay, we're going there.
Yeah, and you might be thinking Kiwi Farms, that's a little out there, isn't it? And you wouldn't be wrong.
Not exactly known for being wholesome.
Right. But that's what makes this whole thing so interesting. This isn't some like typical profile, you know. We're talking about this 28-year-old guy still lives at home with his parents.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and he's kind of carved out this bizarre niche for himself online, streaming old school RuneScape, OSRS, and more recently these online casino games.
Okay, so we've got OSRS, we've got gambling. Sounds like a recipe for disaster already.
Right. But it's the reactions he gets, the way this community documents his every outburst, every bad decision. That's what has us like really scratching our heads.
That's like watching a car crash in slow motion.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be bad, but you can't tear your eyes away.
Exactly. And what's really strange is this online community, this Kiwi Farms thread, they're not just watching, they're dissecting his every move. They even have their own language for it.
Oh, yeah. They love their little in-jokes and slang. So what are we talking, like Kino and all that?
Yeah, you got it. Kino, Tard Energy. Honestly, I'm kind of lost on that stuff.
Right. So Kino, basically, it's their slang for anything that's like absurdly entertaining.
Yeah.
Usually in a really dark humor kind of way. Like finding the amusement in the most unexpected, often cringeworthy moments.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. Kinda.
And then you've got Tard Energy. And well, that's a whole other can of worms. We'll definitely unpack that one later on.
Please do.
But the point is, these terms, they give you a glimpse into the mindset of this community, the type of humor they're into. It's something else.
So we've got this guy, Bossmanjack, streaming his life, his gambling wins, his losses, probably more losses knowing this story. And we've got this whole community speaking their own language, watching his every move. But where did this all begin? Give us the backstory.
All right, so rewind a bit. His story, it starts long before the casino streams. Back in like 2014, 2015, he had some run-ins with the law. Spent some time behind bars, actually. Vehicle break-ins, if you can believe it.
Wow. Okay. So not exactly a clean record then.
Not exactly. Now, look, not excusing his past, but it's important to the story, right? It gives you an idea. This is a young guy who's been on a bit of a turbulent path. Let's just say that.
Interesting. So how does this troubled past lead to online, whatever you want to call what he does?
Right. So he pops up in the OSRS scene around 2019. And that's where things start to get interesting, to say the least. Starts doing these high-stakes duels in the game. Imagine, 2 players betting their virtual gold on the outcome of a fight.
Oh, okay, I think I get it. Like virtual gladiators, kind of.
Exactly. But Bossmanjack, he takes it to a whole other level. Starts doing this thing called debt streaming. Basically, borrowing in-game gold from viewers, promising to pay them back with interest if he wins.
Wait, hold on. Borrowing virtual gold from viewers, that seems, I mean, even in the context of a game, that seems risky.
Risky is an understatement. And this is where we start to see the first signs of the behavior that comes to define him online. He'd lose big, right? And then come the meltdowns, raging at the game, at the viewers who wouldn't lend him more gold, even at his parents, who it seems were often within earshot.
And this is all happening live on stream for everyone to see.
Oh yeah, every dramatic outburst, every desperate plea for more gold, the whole emotional roller coaster broadcast live. And people, they ate it up.
It's kind of wild to think about, you know? This guy broadcasting his life, his losses, his meltdowns, and there's this audience out there completely glued to their screens. It's fascinating and a little disturbing, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And believe it or not, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Things get even wilder when Bossmanjack discovers online casinos.
So last we left, our guy, Bossmanjack, was wading into these high-stakes OSRS duels. But then he finds online casinos. And, well, that's when things really go kind of haywire, right?
Yeah, it's like he found a whole new level, like unlocked a new achievement for risk and reward, you know?
Right.
Around 2022, he makes the switch, starts streaming the casino gameplay. And at first, actually, he has some success, believe it or not, on Twitch.
Really?
Yeah. But then, you can probably guess what happens next. The platform rules kind of catch up with them.
Twitch and their gambling content crackdown. What a shocker. So that's it then. They shut him down.
Oh, no, not at all. He ends up on Kick.
Kick.
Which, it's become kind of notorious for, let's say, a more relaxed approach to content, right?
Right.
And that's when the real Keno starts to use that Kiwi Farms lingo. We're talking bigger wins, even more spectacular losses, all happening live for his audience.
And the whole time, that Kiwi Farms thread is exploding, right? What are they saying about this new phase of the Bossmanjack show?
Oh, they are loving it. The language they use to describe him, it even gets more intense. We start seeing words like degeneracy thrown around. And that tarred energy we talked about. Look, I want to be sensitive here. Obviously, these terms they're not great.
Right.
But they show us something about this little corner of the internet, this subculture that gets humor from the extreme stuff. Yeah. The taboo stuff.
That dark humor we mentioned before, yeah.
Yeah.
But now it feels even more intense, more uncomfortable, Like, is there actually a part of this community that, I don't know, enjoys watching this guy crash and burn?
See, that's the big question hanging over this whole thing, isn't it?
Right.
Where's the line? When does amusement become exploitation? Because on one hand, you've got Bossmanjack, he's a grown man, making his own choices, as questionable as they might be.
Right.
But on the other hand, you've got this whole community watching his life spiral, making jokes, sometimes sounding kind of concerned, but
detached, too, like it's not really their problem.
Exactly. And that's where that comment about OSRS breeding addiction, it really sticks with you. Because it's not just about one game, right?
Right.
It's this whole world, online gaming, how it can make the lines between what's virtual, what's real, really blurry, especially when it comes to consequences.
Yeah, it's like he took the rules of OSRS and applied them to his real life. Like time equals money, you grind to get ahead.
It's gamified his own life.
Exactly. And the worst part is the platforms, they're not exactly stepping in to, stop it.
Yeah. No, not really. If anything, a lot of these platforms, they're built to keep you hooked, to encourage that whole cycle of risk and reward. And with the online casinos, it gets even more, messy. It's not virtual gold anymore. It's real money. Real losses, real people impacted.
And what's so fascinating and honestly kind of disturbing is how this whole thing, this train wreck in slow motion, it becomes its own form of entertainment.
100%. It's like the digital age's gladiator arena. But instead of lions and tigers, you've got debt, addiction, this constant audience judging your every move. And the more extreme the behavior, the bigger the meltdown, the more Keno, the more engaging it gets.
Which brings us back to that uncomfortable truth. We can't ignore the viewers here. The ones watching, commenting, donating even, they're part of this system.
Exactly. And that's where that whole, I don't know what to call it, lol-cow culture, as they call it sometimes.
Lol-cow.
Yeah, it's a way to describe people who are, for whatever reason, seen as like objects of amusement online. And it might seem harmless on the surface, but there's a dark side to it.
Because it's really profiting off of someone else's misfortune, even if it's just clicks, views, forum posts, it's all part of this system where someone's pain is entertainment. So we're talking about this lolcow thing, this idea that someone's struggles, like in Bossmanjack's case, they become the entertainment. It's pretty messed up when you think about it.
It really makes you think about the internet, Like, where's the line? When does it stop being funny, and when does it become, like, actually hurting someone?
Right, and it's not like Bossmanjack is the only one. This is happening all over the place online.
And the platforms, they're not really helping, are they? Kick, for example, they seem to just let anything go.
Yeah, as long as the views are coming, the money's flowing, who cares, right? It's cynical, but...
It's true, though. We've seen this before, right? Platforms, they benefit from this stuff, even if they don't want to admit it. It's all about pushing those boundaries, getting those clicks, those subscriptions.
Which is why it all comes back to us, doesn't it, the viewers? We have to be more aware, more critical of what we're watching and why.
100%. It's so easy to get caught up, to think, well, it's just entertainment, it's not real life. But that's not really true, is it?
No, not really. What we watch online, the communities we're a part of, it affects how we think, how we act, even if we don't realize it.
Right. So how do we change things? How do we get away from this lolcow thing?
Honestly, I don't know if there's an easy answer. I think it has to start with, individual people deciding they don't want to be a part of it anymore.
Yeah, and platforms, they need to step up too. Create healthier spaces online, promote different kinds of content, stuff that's engaging but doesn't rely on exploiting someone.
Easier said than done, right? The internet, It loves drama, controversy. I mean, a story like Bossmanjack's, it's like throwing chum in the water.
Oh yeah, it's going to attract attention.
Yeah.
But I do think there's hope. People are talking about online ethics more and more, digital well-being, having more empathy for each other in online spaces. It's a start.
Yeah, it's a start. It can feel kind of overwhelming sometimes, this whole digital world. But maybe that's the point, right? The thing we should take away from this whole Bossmanjack thing. Behind the memes, behind the crazy moments on stream, those are real people with real lives, real struggles.
Exactly. And remembering that humanity, that's how we start to build a better internet for everyone.
Well said. And that is about all the time we have for today. We've just scratched the surface here. But hopefully this deep dive has given you some things to think about. So next time you find yourself clicking on that train wreck of a story, ask yourself why. What are you getting out of it? And are you part of the problem?
It's a conversation worth having. For Bossmanjack, for sure, but for all of us, really.
Absolutely. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and stay human.